Ever wanted to try a miniatures war game like Warhammer or Trench Crusade, but didn't want to have to sell a kidney just to afford it? Well, I've got the game for you. This is Heroscape, a miniatures war game where you get a whole variety of miniatures from dragons to polar bears to robot pirates, along with these very, very cool modular terrain system where you can actually build the board that you want to play with. It's very simple. All it takes to put the board together is taking a piece and sliding it in the grooves, and then you can stack them like so. A lot of this terrain on this board here is from the first run of the game, including that castle over there, the fortress. That's actually two fortresses combined. This giant Heroscape board is just one example of the many different things you can make with the modular terrain system of Heroscape. Now, a lot of the pieces here are actually from the game's initial run back when Hasbro was initially putting it out, including that castle, which is a combination of two different of the fortress sets. I used to love this game. This was my all-time favorite board game, collectible game, period. I played this all the time when I was young, up until it was unfortunately, very sadly, discontinued in 2010. But that's why I have so many pieces. But thankfully, Renegade Game Studios had out of California, San Diego, I believe is where they're located. They have gotten the rights to Heroscape and have started releasing new sets finally. And so that is where we have a lot of these figures, like those little bears down there or that dragon over there. Those are from the new sets. Down here is a big collection of all of the old miniatures that I had collected over the years from the original run of the game. And you can see they're pretty cool. There's a wide variety. These are like some skeleton alien dudes. There's several dragons. We've got knights over here, ghosts, there's orcs, there's all kinds of stuff, even robots back in there, and angels. These Kyrie characters, which are what the angels are, they're basically like Valkyrie from, Nordic mythology. They're kind of the centerpiece of the storyline of the game, although there's very minimal lore for this game, but hopefully that will change in time. And you can even see in there they had Captain America and some other Marvel heroes, which is kind of goofy. But yeah, now we have some new stuff. And here we go. Here's an example of what one of the new miniatures looks like from the Renegade Studios releases. It's only been a short time since they released their first master set, and there's been a lot of expansions released along the way. So just within a couple months, really, they've been releasing tons of stuff. But here's what their miniatures look like, and these miniatures are actually much higher quality than what the old ones were. The actual sculpt is a lot better. The details are much more defined. And you can get them like this for cheaper. If you buy a set that has unpainted miniatures like this, it's actually quite a bit cheaper. But you can also buy them where they come painted. But if you get them unpainted, well, then it's up to you to paint them and get them to look cool like this. I'm not the best at it. This is actually the first time I have ever even tried to paint miniatures, but I'm getting the hang of it as I go along. This is my favorite one that I've done so far, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, you can see my skill level is not so great when you look at his cape there, but here I am in the process of painting some of the other figures that I haven't finished yet. And this is kind of an idea. You can see how it goes. Also, I apologize. I'm not so good at talking for these because this is my first time trying to do one of these types of videos. But basically, Heroscape's a great game. it's both cheaper and simpler to play than Warhammer. Now, I'm not a Warhammer player, so I can't say that necessarily with I don't have the credentials to say that, but from the little bit I do know of it, it seems a lot more complicated, and I know for sure that it's a lot more expensive. Heroscape for the master set, it only costs, if we go to Amazon right now, this is for the largest set that you can purchase right now. It costs $121, but there's also a 2-player box to get started, which costs $43, and this comes with 6 miniatures plus quite a little bit of terrain, enough terrain pieces to make a small battlefield to learn how to play. So this is a great way to get started, to see if the game is for you, and then if you are willing to spend a little more money. But that being said, the big master set for $121 comes with, well, let's see, 20 miniatures plus a ton of terrain to build awesome boards. And I mean, if you got something like that from Warhammer, that would be just a hell of a lot more money. There's all kinds of different expansions, like terrain expansions, where you can just get a bunch of tiles to make some giant board like what I showed in there. And then we have other expansions that just come with miniatures, but very high quality, very cool miniatures. There's jungle trees expansion. There's all kinds of stuff. Don't get caught off guard if you go on Amazon and you run into a Heroscape set with 6 miniatures in it and it's $160. That is because it is one of the old sets that is, you know, Heroscape's a cult following at this point, with a lot of people from heroscapers.com you know, seeking the old sets and all this. They're very, anywhere you go, they're very expensive for the old ones, but the new ones are reasonably priced. This game's just great, and I'm making this channel about Heroscape because I love it. It's my favorite game I've ever played, and I don't want it to get discontinued again the way that it did in 2010. So I want to do whatever I can to try and get more people playing this game. It is just wonderful. And tons of stuff. I don't know. I might just... This is my first video, and I'm not necessarily so great at this yet, but I plan to make plenty more. So go ahead and like and subscribe if you're a part of the Heroscape community, or if you think this looks interesting and you want to get into it. Either way, or I'll put some links to other people who are on YouTube doing Heroscape videos who are a bit more experienced than me. But yeah, it's just a great game. Basically, the way it works is both sides build an army, just like something like Warhammer, with a points value. There are different scenarios usually that come along with the sets to guide you through playing, but generally a lot of people come up with their own scenarios, or they just play where you have to get rid of all of the opponent's figures. And it's very simple. I'll show you what one of the cards looks like here. Because this is not Warhammer. This isn't where you have to go buy some giant rulebook codex to try and figure out how to play this game. No, it's very simple. You have this card, and right here you have stats. They can move 6 spaces. They can attack up to 1 space away. This figure rolls 3 dice when they attack and 5 dice when they defend. So as an example of that, I will show you what the dice look like over here. Let me see if I can turn this thing around real quick. So here we have the classic Heroscape dice. You see there are skulls and shields on these dice. So if someone's attacking and they have an attack of 3, they roll 3 dice, and you can see that they got 3 hits. And if they're defending, they roll it, 1 shield, which means 2 hits go through the defense. So from that example there, 2 of the hits got through the defense, and therefore this character is dead. But now that's just the basic beginner game, because the real game of Heroscape, you have to turn the card over. And here we have something new, and this is the character's life. So for this one, it's 4. I know it's mirrored and it's backwards, but this one's 4. So with this example of 4 life, if somebody rolls an attack of 6 and this person has a defense of 3, then let's say that the attacker rolls the dice and they get 4 skulls, but this defender rolls 3 dice and they only get 2 skulls, 2 shields, I mean. That means the 2 skulls represent 2 hits that got through the shields. That takes off 2 lives. So this thing only has 2 life left. And in addition to that, we have abilities for the character, and these do all different things for each character. You have unique heroes, you have squads, you have, you might have characters where on one card you have 4 characters. This is generally the idea. I'll try to get some better videos in the future, but for now I just want to get the channel started. I wanted to show how cool this game is, how cool it looks when it's all set up like that example. And I just want to get people playing this game because I do not want this game to stop. I do not want it to discontinue like it did before. I had to wait almost a decade. Let's see, over a decade for this game to come back. I used to play this all the time when I was young with my friends. It got discontinued, and that was a sad day for all of the Heroscape fans. But see, the game's never caught on, really. It's like, it's got a cult following, but it's never got massively successful. And I very much want to change that. I want this to be a big game because it deserves to be, because it's a great game. It's so fun. And if you're a creative person, I mean, just building the boards and painting the miniatures, that's fun enough, even if you don't even play the game. But it's a great game to play on top of that. So for more Heroscape content, like, subscribe, and I'm going to put links to other Heroscape-centered YouTube channels in the description. Thank you. Bye.